Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to tonight's episode of Morte. Tonight, there is a big showdown in the Red City as Sir Palamide finally takes revenge upon the dead King Hermance at the hands of his friends and kin, not king. That's right, ladies and gents. Sir Palamide is the sword of vengeance tonight. Hello, Karen. Hello. Come in. Welcome. How are you? I hope you had a wonderful weekend. My weekend was good. My voice is back, which is excellent. I can shout, I can wave hands, I can slash, I can project, and there's no danger of it scratching my throat. Having said that, I have just basically been pouring honey from the jar down my throat, but it's all good now. Hello, Dawn. Hello, Black Rabbit. Come in. Welcome. Happy Monday. Welcome, guys. Also, in other news, it has now become impossible for me to see, by the way, out of this mop. It's fine if I'm sat there. Usually, though, if I find myself sort of walking around and then catch sight in the mirror, honey went down my throat, Black Rabbit, honey. I've been pouring the stuff down, plenty of it, which is all good. And yes, I've now booked a haircut. I've booked a haircut because this is. I'll keep it there, Dawn. The problem is, it's this. This, when I'm driving, I can't drive without a hat. Where's my hat? Here's my hat. Basically, Dawn, although I'm like this for the show, around the house, I have to wear the hat. I cannot cook without the hat. I can't drive without the hat. When I read and I write, the hat is on at all times. It took it that the hair will stay. I just want the fringe gone. I just like the fringe to be a bit tidy. The fringe, it's this bit, which is, I mean, good Lord, look at it. It's longer than my face at this point, guys. It desperately needs to be trimmed. That is. Good Lord, I like some kind of unicorn with there. That's impressive. No elastic bands. I'm taking the fringe back, Rabbit. I'm taking this back. I'm gonna probably have it chopped down to about there, I reckon. Chop it at about there. No pins, no hair. I'll take the cross between the Harrys. I'll accept the cross between the Harrys. Anyway, it's Friday is the day. I would scope it, but I can't get Wi-Fi in there. I'll Instagram my way through the haircut just to give you all the praise of what's happening every step of the way. We'll do that, and so I won't have to constantly grab my hair and pull it back in. Robin, I am trying to pull my hair back so that I can see and read tonight's tale. It's reached the point now where I cannot see for love nor money out of this mop. As soon as I start walking around or into the office, I basically come in everywhere looking like this now, and which is fine. I can kind of get away with it at work. But I think you do need to be playing guitar in some kind of band otherwise. Also, I've got this annoying thing at the moment where I'm constantly tasting my hair. I can just taste my hair all the time. It gets like this, and I am pulling hair out of my mouth constantly. I think I should be Robin, although Tresemme is the brand of choice on this show. One day Tresemme will stop paying me for plugging them, but until that day, we'll just say yes. The hair is done with Tresemme. Mint hair oil. Good Lord, I've never even heard of mint hair oil before. Is there such a thing? I could do mint hair oil. Mint hair oil would work. Mint. I don't know. Mint might be nice. I think actually, yeah, I could get on board with having some minty hair. So every time it falls into my mouth, I can get it. I will hang in there, Robin. I will hang in there until Friday when we just get it trimmed back, and I can regain some control over the hair. The hair is now out of control. Officially, the hair is out of control. We will get the hair back in control, but that's not why we came here tonight, ladies and gents. We came here to tell tales of daring do. This, Robin, this is the tale of the brave Sir Palomides, who is in the process of avenging King Hermance. King Hermance is king of the Red City on the banks of the River Humber in England. King Hermance was a loyal king, beloved of all. He was just. He distributed his wealth evenly, and he was a very wealthy king. But, ladies and gents, and here's the but behind all of this, he was perhaps a true trusting a king, perhaps too free and easy in how he distributed his wealth. For within his own court there were two men, kin of him, who conspired to slay him and take all his wealth, because they believed that he was weak and trusting, and they were evil men. And so, ladies and gents, those two men, Sir Helias and Sir Helake, waited until the depths of night and then came upon Hermance, raised their daggers high, stabbed him through and through and through, so that Hermance, waking, reeled from them, came through the castles to his most trusted courtiers, and there, bleeding from his wounds, he dictated a letter to his chamberlain. A letter that asked that the knight who discovered that letter would be the man who should avenge him against those who conspired for him. Then was King Hermance set in a boat and put out into the River Humber, down towards its mouth. And upon the banks of the River Humber, ladies and gents, my home ground, upon the banks of the River Humber did Sir Palomides discover his boat, and there discover his letter, and there discover the quest asking for vengeance against those who would conspire against him. Sir Palomides, noble knight that he is, agreed to take this quest that the dead king had bequeathed him, for he also said that whatsoever knight as would avenge him would inherit his land, his city, and all of his assets. Palomides has come to the Red City, ladies and gents, sword at the ready, and has called out those two men who conspired for the death of the king, Sir Helias and Sir Helake, and he has challenged them both to meet him upon the field of battle. Either those two will walk away alive, or Sir Palomides will walk away alive. But I shall tell you now, ladies and gents, only one party will walk away. For the penalty in losing tonight's battle is death, most certain. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into tonight's show. So, in a field before the Red City, Sir Helias and Helake faced off against Sir Palomides. Excellent, Robin. I'm very, very glad. They agreed to fight. And so the parties departed from each other to face off against either end of the battlefield. And then came together the two brethren against Sir Palomides, and he against them, as fast as their horses might run. And by fortune Sir Palomides smote Sir Helic through his shield and through the breast more than a fathom deep. All this while Sir Helius held up his spear, and for pride and arrogance he would not smite Sir Palomides with his spear. But when he saw his brother lie on the earth, and saw that he might not help himself, then he said to Sir Palomides, "Ready yourself, knight!" Then he came hurtling upon Sir Palomides with his spear, and smote the man quite from his saddle. Then Sir Helius rode over Sir Palomides' body once, then twice, then 3 times the hooves into the body, and therewith Sir Palomides, he says, turning the page, was ashamed, and he got the horse of Sir Helius by the bridle, and therewith the horse reared up, and Sir Palomides came up after, and so they both fell to the earth clashing. But anon Helius started up lightly, and there he smote Sir Palomides a great smoke upon the helm, and he kneeled down upon his own knee. Then they lashed together many sad strokes, and traced and traversed, now backwards, now sidewards, hurtling together like 2 boars. And at that same time they fell, both men, grovelling to the earth. Thus they fought, without any reposing, for 2 whole hours, and neither one man did dare to breathe in between the strokes, until Sir Palomides waxed faint and weary, and Sir Helius still waxed passingly strong against him, and he doubled his strokes, and drove Sir Palomides overthwart, and endlong all that field. That day of the city, when they saw Sir Palomides in this case, they wept, and they cried, and they made great due. And the supporters of Sir Helius made great joy. Alas, said the men of the city, that this noble knight should be slain for our king's sake. And as they were thus weeping and crying, Sir Palomides, who had at that point suffered 100 strokes, that was in wonder he still managed to stand upon his feet. At the last, Sir Palomides beheld as he might the common people, and how they wept for him. And then he said to himself, "Ah, for shame, Sir Palomides! Why do you hang out with your head so low?" Then he bore up his shield and looked Sir Helius in the face, and he smote him a great smote upon his shield and his helm, and after that another and another and another, and he smote Sir Helius with such might that he fell to the earth grovelling. Then Palomides ripped his helm from his head, and there he then smote the man such a buffet that he knocked Helius's head clean from his body. Then the people of that city were the most joyful people that had ever been. And so they brought Palomides to his lodging with great solemnity, and there all the people of the city became his men. Sir Palomides prayed them all to take keep unto the lordship of King Hermance. For, fair sirs, know you well, I may not at this time abide with you, he said, for I must in all haste now leave this city, and return to be with my lord King Arthur at the castle of Lonazep, for I have promised to do great deeds there. Then the people of that city were full heavy at his departing. For all that city loved Sir Palomides, and they gave him the third part of their goods, so that he would still abide with them. But in no way at that time would he stay. And so Sir Palomides departed, and he came to the castle. And at that castle Sir Ebel was lieutenant. And when they in the castle knew of how Sir Palomides had sped, then there was much joyful singing. And so Sir Palomides departed, and came, as he had promised, to the castle of Lonazep. And when he found out that his friend Sir Tristram had not arrived there, then he took his way over the Humber, and came to the castle of Lancelot, where Sir Tristram was in resting with the beautiful Lady Isolde. Sir Tristram had commanded that whatsoever knight might come within the Joyous Guard, as was the castle called, that Sir Tristram should be notified. And so, as the man arrived, a man came to Sir Tristram and warned him of Sir Palomides' arrival. "What manner of man is he?" said Sir Tristram, "and what sign does he bear?" So the man told Sir Tristram all the tokens of him. "That is Palomides," said Dinadan. "It might well be," said Sir Tristram. "Go you to him," said Sir Tristram to Dinadan. And said Dinadan, Tristram's friend, went unto Sir Palomides, and there either one made each other great joy. And so they spent that night talking joyously, and on the morn early came Sir Tristram and Sir Gareth, and took them to their beds, and so they arose and broke their fast. Halfway through tonight's tale, ladies and gents, and thank you for all your lovely comments. Nice to see some new faces coming through here tonight. I hope you're enjoying the show. Sir Palomides has achieved vengeance over King Hermance's executors. Hermance has been avenged. Helios and Hermes both lie dead upon the soil of the Red City. Palomides has been given the lordship over all that land and its people. But he has not rested there, ladies and gents. For Sir Palomides made a promise that he would fight with Sir Tristram over at the castle of Lonazep to decide which of the two were the greater knights. Sir Palomides, Gil, Sir Palomides is a Saracen that the knights of King Arthur met during Arthur's great crusade against the Holy Roman Emperor Lucius. During the siege of a town in France. No, this is English. English. During the siege of a town in France, Sir Gawain came across a Saracen in the forest nearby when he went to go and find some supplies. There the two men fought against each other, and neither one could win upon that day. And so Sir Gawain made Sir Palomides swear that he would come to England and prove his worth as a knight there. Ever since Palomides has been in England, ever since he has been fighting noble quests, swearing that once he has fought enough noble quests, once he has won sufficient honour, then he will ultimately give his sword to King Arthur and become one of his knights. And so Palomides has quested long and far. But, ladies and gents, for those of you who don't know, there is rivalry here. For Sir Palomides and Sir Tristram are both in love with the beautiful Isolde of Cornwall. And Sir Tristram got the girl. Sir Tristram got the girl, ladies and gents, and ever since Palomides has hated him, ever since Palomides has sworn to defeat him in battle, they have fought once, twice, 3 times, ladies and gents. Only one time has Palomides ever succeeded in knocking Tristram down, and that was the time when he came upon Tristram from behind and announced to knock him off his steed. Yes. And so Palomides and Tristram have sworn that they would face off against each other one last time to see which one of them is in fact the greater knight. Every time they agree a place and a date to fight, one of those 2 men cannot make it because they have been delayed elsewhere. And so Sir Palomides has left his new kingdom and come back so that he might face off against Sir Tristram at the castle of Lonazep. But Tristram has left Lonazep and gone back to the castle of the Joyous Guard. I forgot its name there. Ask what? No. It's a letter opener. It's a letter opener with a stag's head on it. And so finally, Palomides has made his way to Lancelot's castle where Sir Tristram is sat there to see can he and Tristram face off against each other once more. Ladies and gents, let's continue with tonight's tale. A letter opener. It's when you get a letter, you can put it in, open it rather than use your finger. It's an old thing to do, but it's good for stabbing things. No, not at all. Then Sir Tristram desired Sir Palomides to ride into the fields and woods with him. So the 2 knights were accorded to repose themselves in the forest, and when they had played a good while, then they rode to a farewell, and anon there came an armed knight riding against them. Even one of the men saluted each other, and then this knight spoke to Sir Tristram and asked who were the knights who were lodged in the castle of Joyous Guard. I know not who they are, said Sir Tristram. Then what knights be you? Said that knight. For it seems to me that you are no knights errant, because you ride unarmed. Whether we are knights or not, we have no desire to tell you our name. Will you not tell me your name? Said that knight. Then keep yourselves, for you shall die of my hands. And therewith he got his spear in his hands, and he would have run Sir Tristram through. But that was seen by Sir Palomides, who smote his horse into the middle of that side of the attack, so that man and horse fell to the earth. And therewith Palomides alit, rose, pulled out his sword, and would have slain that knight. Let be, said Tristram. Slay him not, that knight is but a fool. It would be a shame to slay him. But take away his spear, said Sir Tristram, and let him take his horse, and go wherever he will. So, when this knight arose, he groaned sore of the fall, and he took his horse. And when he was up, then he turned his horse and required Sir Tristram and Sir Palomides to tell him of what knights they were. Now, know you well, said Sir Tristram, that my name is Sir Tristram de Lyon, And this knight's name is Sir Palomides. When their opponent knew who they were, he took his horse, and with the spears, and by cause that they should not ask him his name, he rode away so fast through thick and thin. Then came there by them a knight with a blended shield of azure, whose name was Epinogre. And he came towards them at great wallop. "Where are you riding?" said Sir Tristram. "My fair lords," said Epinogre, "I follow the falsest knight who bears the life. Wherefore I require you tell me whether you saw him, for he bears a shield with a case of red over it." "So God me help," said Sir Tristram, "such a knight departed from us not a quarter of an hour before. We pray you, tell us his name." "Alas," said Epinogre, "why did you let him escape from you? He is so great a foe unto all errant knights. His name is Bruce Sans Pité." "Fie for shame," said Sir Palomides. "Alas, that ever he escaped my hands. For he is the man in the world that I hate most." Then every knight made great sorrow to each other. And so Epinogre departed, and followed the chase after him. And then Tristram and his 3 fellows rode back to the castle of Joyous Gard. There Sir Tristram talked to Sir Palomides of his battle, and how he had sped. At the Red City, and as you have heard before, how it was ended. "Truly," said Sir Tristram, "I am glad that you have well sped, for you have done worshipfully." "Well," said Tristram, "we must forward to morn." And then he devised how it should be, and Sir Tristram decided to send his 2 pavilions to set them fast by the well of the castle of Lonazep, and therein should be the beautiful Queen Isolde. "It's well said," said Sir Dinadan. But when Sir Palomides heard of that, his heart was ravished out of measure. Notwithstanding, he said but little. And so when they came to Joyous Gard, Sir Palomides would not go into that castle, but as Sir Tristram took him by the finger and led him there. And when Sir Palomides saw the beautiful Isolde, he was ravished so that he might not speak. The men went to eat meat, but Palomides could suffer no food, and there was all the cheer that might be had. And on the morn they dressed to ride towards Lonazep. And so Sir Tristram had 3 squires, and the beautiful Isolde had 3 gentlewomen, and both the queen and they were richly apparelled. And other people had they none with them other than varlets to bear their shields and their spears. Thus they rode forth, and so as they rode they saw before them a rout of knights. It was the knight Galihodin, with 20 knights with him. "Fair fellows," said Galihodin, "yonder come 4 knights, and a rich and a well fair lady. I am in will to take that lady from them." "That's not best counsel," said one of Galihodin's men, "but send yourself to them, and know what they say." And so it was done. There came a squire to Sir Tristram, who asked them whether they would joust or else lose their lady. Not so, said Tristram. Tell your lord I bid him come as many as we be, and win her and take her. Sir, said Palomides, if it please you, let me have this deed. I shall fight them. I will fight all 4 of them. Very well, said Sir Tristram. You may have it at your pleasure. Now go and tell your lord Galahadin that this same night will encounter with him and his fellows. And there, ladies and gents, we will end tonight's tale. A new night, Sir Galahadin, has come out and discovered Tristram and Palomides riding with the beautiful Isolde. He plans to take her from those knights, to challenge them to a duel. The winner who gets to take the Queen Isolde into their possession. Tristram is not afraid of this, neither is Sir Dinadan. They are both great knights of great repute. And so Palomides has agreed to fight not 1 of them, not 2 of them, but all 4 of them. And tomorrow night, ladies and gents, we will see just what happens when Sir Palomides goes to fight all 4 of those knights at once. It will be great, it will be epic, it will be bloody. There will be smiting and buffeting, jousting with spears, and all the good stuff that you know you love. And I love to tell it, and I cannot wait. So please, ladies and gents, please join me tomorrow night as we return to the wonderful world of King Arthur and his knights to find out just what happens. Rabbit's excited. Thank you, Dawn. Thank you. Thank you, everyone who came tonight. Thank you for all the lovely hearts and the sharing and the comments. By the way, guys, they mean an awful lot. So thank you, Karen. Thank you, Dawn and Rabbit. Thank you, Robin. Thank you, Catherine and Elad. Thank you, Christopher. Thank you, Rosella. Thank you, Gary and Christina. It's been wonderful to have you here this evening. For those of you who are new, we do this every night. Every night at 9 o'clock UK time, we come on here and read tales of King Arthur, followed by some poetry. So in a few minutes time we will load up and start the Poetry Live show. Tonight I'm going to be reading the poems of Petrarch again. I love reading Petrarch's poetry. I love Petrarch's sonnets. So tonight we are going to have some of the greatest love sonnets ever written. And also some of the first sonnets ever written, but the first ones were the best. So, in a few minutes' time, ladies and gents, join me for Poetry Live. I will see you in a few minutes' time. Thank you so much for coming tonight, ladies and gents. It's been wonderful to meet those of you who are new. It's been great to see those of you who've been here before. Hopefully, I'll see you for some poetry in a few minutes' time. Bye-bye.